Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the second day of January 2024. I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. I hope you were safe during the New Year's Eve celebrations and holiday, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who, along with the first responders, are out here saving lives every day, and those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean and disease free, and those also that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People who are also the victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses upon those who profit from these things, and double curses on the perverts that create this horrible industry. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, there was a basketball game yesterday. And the New York Knicks yesterday afternoon beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I want to tell you, it wasn't as close as the score indicated. And that's what's so exciting about this. Now, last summer, if you recall, I did a video about the position that OG Anunoby was in and how the Don was in a great position with the Knicks in terms of OG. I did not think once training camp opened that they would get this deal done during the season. I thought it would get done over the summer when there would be more pressure, and I thought that Masai Ujiri was going to mess around and wait too long like he did by letting Fred VanVleet walk. I started to believe he was going to do that because I didn't hear anything. It didn't look like anything was happening. But then all of a sudden, as we see, obviously, the deal got done. And, OG is a Knick. Now, for the same reasons, we talked last summer, and I told you RJ would be the piece because he's coming, he's developing, but OG is there. Okay? And so you get a guy that's just about, let's see, OG's 26, RJ is 24, 23, something like that. No, RJ's 23 and OG's 26. So you got a 3-year difference, but both of these are young players, but OG is much more polished at this point than RJ. So he's ready now. Well, yesterday, and this is the thing, some shorts, and some of y'all just saw it, y'all go overboard on both sides. So I said, I think Precious Achua is the second coming of Charles Oakley, and most of y'all started going on trip mode because he didn't play that well yesterday. First of all, let's understand something. That was their first game. They didn't even get a chance to practice with the Knicks. They just came out there and played yesterday. Okay, number one. Number two, some people I had something up there, though. He gonna overplay Brunson and Deuce ain't gonna play. Can we please stop tripping on one game and understand a longer term implication? Because this is what the Knicks are doing. It's a longer term situation here. Okay. No, they're not going for any more big deals right now. I know a lot of people are there. There's another deal. No, there ain't no more deals. Okay. If, like I said, if they get DeJounte Murray, it's because they've decided to deal Quentin Grimes. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think. And first of all, that's not no easy decision. Some of y'all seem to think because you're looking at your NBA 2K scoreboard and you're thinking, oh, that's easy, done. No, it's not that easy because Quentin Grimes is a star in the making, okay, in the future. And I'm telling y'all, it's not an easy decision to trade a 22-year-old right now that is already ready. He could already prove he could start in the league. This is a very heavy decision. So I don't think that the Don is going to make that decision now. I don't think he is. I think he's going to wait. Not only that, let's just go player by player, man. Because the thing is, let's start with Juju. And the reason I want to start with Juju is, if you recall, RJ Barrett was he was a key here in the sense that if RJ Barrett was missing his jump shots, if he was off, teams would slough off of him. And we saw that last week even. They would dare him to shoot, dare him to beat them. And what they would do is put more help on Julius or put more help on Brunson, okay, especially on Julius. They couldn't do that yesterday. See, and as much as like if you were to see Jaden McDaniels or you see Nas Reed or you see Cat, and you think they could guard Julius, they can't. Okay, they can't. They could guard him with help. Okay, but if they don't have the help, they're gonna be held to pay. And this is what happened yesterday. I've been waiting for this for a minute because even when Juju was just a turnover machine that played no defense, I always understood that very few people could guard him one-on-one. Okay? He wasn't guarding anybody back in the day and turning the ball over and spinning too much, but nobody could really guard him one-on-one. That's what caused Scott Perry Scott Perry and the former president of basketball operations to go out there and sign him when he was a free agent. Well, yesterday, they couldn't slough off OG Anunoby. They couldn't slough off Dante. They had to be honestly play them because both of those guys can hit open shots. Very simple. And so now you had to have Karl Anthony Towns try to guard you. Then they switch off and try to have Nas Reed try to guard you. Then they put length on him, which is usually about the most effective thing you could do against Julius Randle is put length on him. And Jaden McDaniels represents length in spades, okay? But no, that didn't help. Julius was too much for each one. He was too much for him. And that's why he was going off. And let me explain something that a lot of y'all, I could tell by your comments, you don't understand this concept. Tom Thibodeau is not a dictator that decides when Julius plays and when he doesn't play. Julius is given the freedom by Tom Thibodeau to decide when he plays and when he doesn't play. The only time Tom Thibodeau takes control of Julius's minutes is in the fourth quarter when Tom is deciding. Tom decides what's closing lineup's going to be. That's it. Other than that, with him and Brunson, they decide how long and how much they want to play. Okay? So yesterday when you saw, for example, you saw Deuce only get, 7-8 minutes yesterday. Okay? Deuce got 7 minutes yesterday. That's because Brunson was off. Brunson was shooting the ball terrible. He was 5 for 23. And what he was trying to do was play his way through it and get a rhythm. And Tom let him because Tom give him that freedom. You want to keep playing? Cool. Because Brunson played 41 minutes yesterday. He didn't have to. He wanted to. And I can understand because yesterday was the first time that the starting five is playing with a guy like OG. Okay, so it was almost like they had to practice because they hadn't practiced. They hadn't even run a practice yet. So now they're just trying to get acclimated. And not only that, if you've ever played ball and you are running with a 5-man and you're in a flow and you and the other 4 in such a flow, you don't even want the game to stop. Y'all are just having so much fun balling. That is what we saw yesterday. Okay, that's what we saw. And so Brunson was off. He was shooting horrible. Yes, he had 14 assists. Got it. But he wasn't 5 for 23. Come on now. That ain't him. So he was trying to get a rhythm with that crew. And Tom was letting him. That's why Deuce didn't get the minutes. Tom Thibodeau actually went 7 deep yesterday because Deuce got but 7 minutes and Precious only got but 8 minutes. And they didn't get a chance to get in the flow. That's why they didn't look as good as you expect them to look. Of course, y'all short-sighted ones start making long-term projections off 8 minutes. But anyway, OG caused Julius to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And Julius, in his prime, cannot be guarded by anybody in the league one-on-one. I don't care who it is. You might get a Giannis. Might be able, maybe, okay? But forget it. Other than that, forget it. Okay, he was destroying everybody they put on, and it was because they could not double him with OG hanging out there. And the thing I loved about OG and this is the key thing I want to overall tell you this: they were in no way, the Knicks, flowing on all cylinders yesterday. That's the exciting thing. Minnesota was fully healthy. They're the number one team in the West. Okay, they've been the number one team in the West since like October, November. And here we are in January. They've been holding stranglehold on the number one seed in the West. So they're legit. And the Knicks were beating them, and they weren't even running on all cylinders yesterday. See? So now that's just the unleashing of Julius, okay? Brunson was getting the spots and the shots he would normally hit. That's why he stayed out on the floor. He was getting to the spots and the shots that he would normally hit, but he wasn't doing it yesterday. Just he was off, and he was trying to get in the flow. Okay, he was 5 for 23, 1 for 9 from 3. That's not Brunson. You're not going to see a lot of games from Brunson like that. Okay, but it was yesterday, and they were, like I said, they were trying to get in the flow with their new toy they got. OG Anunoby, and this is what we've been missing. He hits the open 3. He moves without the basketball. If you notice, on at least 2 or 3 occasions, he's cutting to the basket when nobody's watching him. They were watching him at the 3-point line, and he slipped in, and he's got a legit 7-foot wingspan. What does that mean? That means even though he's 6'7", it's really like he's 6'10", because if you notice, he doesn't have to get off the ground that far to dunk the basketball because his arms are so freaking long. Okay? And he knows how to use it, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, what made me most excited was during the course of the game, OG was guarding, during the course of the game yesterday, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniels. During the course of the game, he guarded each one of those guys. And I mean, put clamps on. Put clamps on. Not only does he have elite defensive footwork, and we know his size and his arm length. Not only does he do that, but he has the bulk to get physical with any of them. That's what was exciting me the most. Okay, so then you got him now, and not only that, he's 7 of 12 yesterday, 3 of 6. I think this is typical of what you will see from him. I don't think this is an outlier because it was his first game. I'm pretty confident you're going to see numbers like this. He only took 12 shots, but he's extremely efficient. Okay, you're talking about a guy shoot 40% from 3. Now, yesterday he was shooting 50% from 3, but you're talking about a guy generally shooting 40% from 3. So you might get a 3 of 7 total most of the time. I think that 17 points per game with this team is something you're going to see regularly. The only issue we will have, and I'm trying to prepare you for it now, is when he misses games. He's going to miss some games. Now, the dude does get hurt. But when he plays, and if we could have him for the playoffs, because yesterday, without a Mitchell Robinson out, I got to give flowers to Isaiah Hartenstein. Did you see him block Gobert's dunk? That was guts, man. It wasn't even like he went up, higher than Gobert. He got up high enough. And he just said, no, you're not coming in. Your access is denied. And that's what happened. So he played, and we know he's a tough kid. He played tough. He was in there, and they weren't calling the stupid ticky-tack fouls on him, so he was able to play. He stayed in the game for almost 40 minutes himself, okay? And that's what I'm saying. They were just trying to get the flow with this new squad. You could tell by Julius, really, because Julius wears his emotions on his sleeve. Julius was having fun yesterday. Okay, he was having fun yesterday. All right. So OG in the way he plays, expert level, high level defense, cuts to the basket without the ball, hits an open 3. Okay. Not a big rebounder, but one thing you notice about him, he goes after the rebounds, okay? Just doing that at his size causes disruption. And speaking of rebounding, the Knicks out-rebounded them 49. The Knicks had 49 boards to 34 boards. The Knicks had 16 offensive rebounds. They had 4. That's with two 7-footers playing in the starting lineup. They have 4 offensive rebounds. Okay? Telling y'all, man, look, this here, now, can we improve in some things? Yes, we could. There was 23 assists yesterday. Brunson had 14 of them, and a lot of that's because he has the ball in his hands most of the time. Like I said, he did play 41 minutes yesterday. He wanted that. Okay, fine. But we do need some more assists, some more ball movement. But we weren't rolling on all cylinders yet. We weren't. And they were dominating this team. It got close at the end because every pro team makes a run, okay, especially a number 1 team in the West. But we were dominating them for the lion's share of this game. The Knicks were really too much for them, okay, and that's exciting. That's exciting. So Dante was lights out, and that's the thing. That's why Dante is starting, okay. Grimes, yes, Grimes has more upside. He's younger than Dante. He has more upside, okay, way more upside. He's going to be Dante on a higher level. But Dante, again, is ready now. Dante is ready right now. Dante nailed in 5 of 11 from the field yesterday. Very efficient, playing the passing lanes, playing team ball. And, of course, the most important thing is that Brunson is very comfortable with Dante. That's the most important thing, obviously. So he's going to have Dante there. That's why some people say, well, we should start Q-Dog. Stop whining. Stop whining. This is the way it is, okay? I'm Q-Hive. I was Q-Hive before he even got drafted by the Knicks, and I still am. But this is the way it is. Let it flow, okay? And what I mean by not being on all cylinders yet, you ain't seen the bench yet. You ain't seen it yet. No. See, Brunson kind of threw it off yesterday because he demanded to stay on the floor. That's what happened. Okay, that's cool. Once him and the starting unit flow, you're going to see Grimes, Precious, Deuce, and Josh do business. Now, yesterday the bench produced, 18 points because really, Tibbs went 7 deep yesterday. Now, even Tibbs ain't going to do that. But, we now in game, we in game 30, I think it is. I think they game 33 with 40-something games alone. He's not going to go 7 deep like that. But he did it yesterday. So that's why they weren't completely on all cylinders. But when these cats start to play, when their regular 4-man rotation coming off the bench, this is going to be something. Because the OG Anunoby really, and that's what I've been saying a long time. Like I had a number of players. I told y'all there was a Jeremy Grant. I mentioned a Jeremy Grant that was also that type of dude that can make the same effect as Obi in that same position. In that same position. And I mentioned, of course, Mikal Bridges that can have that same effect. All of these players will have the effect that OG had on the team. Same effect. You can't use all of them, you greedy ones, talking about, we're going to get this and get them all. No, you can't get them all. But you got OG. And OG being 26, you probably have, after this season, you probably have 3 or 4 more prime seasons of OG Anunoby. That's good. Brunson's in his prime now. You probably have 3 or 4 more prime seasons of Brunson. Jew is 29. You probably got 2 more after this, the prime seasons of Jew. And I'm telling you, if we had a healthy Mitch Rob, we'd be Eastern Conference finalists. I'm telling you right now. But I'm not putting it past this team to not do it anyway. Okay? Because they figured out how to play around Isaiah Hartenstein. And Hartenstein is doing that. And I'm telling y'all, you ain't seen Precious yet. You ain't seen him. Some of y'all already mocking because you're short-sighted. That's a common theme in Knicks Nation, a disease y'all suffer from, short-sightedness. But you ain't seen him yet. 6'8", 243, you going to see that, okay? I'm not worried about it. And that's what's exciting me. They ain't started yet. And when they do, it's going to be good. So and the thing is, when you see the Knicks play like this, and you see they're not even running on full steam yet, there's no team you're afraid to play. There's no Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics. There's no Suns. There's no Miami. There's nobody that you don't want to play. Okay? Now, they got a tough stretch coming up. Now, they got Chicago on Wednesday. Chicago, New York is a war. It's one of them things. It's like Miami, New York. It's a war regardless. They come into the Garden. Zach LaVine going to want to go off in the Garden. But we got something for him. OG could guard him. Okay? OG could guard him. Man, I'm excited about what we got here. So we got Chicago coming up tomorrow. And yeah, and right now in the standings, it's tight. Like I said, it's going to be tight all year. Right now, the Knicks are showing the 7th seed. Them in Cleveland tied for the 7th seed right now. Indiana is a half a game on the Knicks right now. Miami's got a game on the Knicks. It's very tight. It's very tight. And the schedule coming up is actually, I feel like it's more favorable to New York because New York just went through their hell schedule early. Because, check it out. So tonight, Chicago plays Philly. Boston is in Oklahoma City tonight. Okay? That ain't no automatic win. Orlando is starting a West Coast trip. See, we had our West Coast trip. We had 2 of them already. They're going out to Golden State tonight. Now, Golden State, is a wild card. You might get a Steph Curry sighting and all of a sudden it's lights out for Orlando or not. We'll see. Then tomorrow night, we're playing Chicago. Okay, the Knicks are playing Chicago. Miami stays in the West Coast and plays the Lakers. Okay, Miami just lost to the Clippers last night. Orlando plays the Kings, who are like 5th in the West. And this is Orlando. That'll be a second night of a back-to-back for Orlando. See, the Knicks already went through that. We just had that. We just had that in November and December. So right now, the Knicks have 16 games in January. Okay, 16. 10 of those games are at home. They got 3 back-to-backs. One of those back-to-backs is on the road. One of them is a home and road. And one of them is a home and home. Okay? That's much easier than what we have been dealing with prior to now. So Orlando's going to be on the second night of a back-to-back on a West Coast swing. Miami's going to be in the second game of a West Coast swing. And then you still got, let me see, those are our biggest rivals. And then you still got, between Orlando, Miami, you got Cleveland. Well, Cleveland's got a game against Washington on Wednesday, so they should be able to handle that. But I'm telling you, this schedule is going to start favoring the Knicks because now everybody else has to go through their tough part of the schedule. It goes to, everybody gets it. The Knicks caught it from October, November, December. The Knicks were catching a hellified schedule. Well, now it's their turn. Now we're going to really see who's tough because, like I said, Tom Thibodeau's teams generally play better in the second half of the season. Also, if you've noticed, usually when Leon Rose makes a move in the middle of the season, it usually is pretty favorable to the Knicks. Also, we've come out of the toughest part of the schedule, and the Knicks are now going into January now. We're 18-14, I believe it is, or 18-15 right now. The Knicks are 18-15. Yes, 18-15. That's pretty daggone good after 33 games. All y'all whining about fire this one and trade this one. 18-15 with the schedule the Knicks just had, that's really good. So now, going into the rest of January, they got 15 more games in January. I don't want to predict a record, but I like our chances. I like the Knicks' chances, especially if they could stay healthy. This is the thing I'm concerned with OG Anunoby. If he could stay healthy, we'll be in really good shape. Now, if he has to sit because he's hurt, hopefully not long. If he sprains an ankle or something, Tom could still go to, you got your Dante. He loves to go to Josh Hart. I don't like Josh Hart being that first guy that he uses off the bench. He seems to love Josh Hart. That's like his new son now. But I think he should go to Q-Dog and have Q-Dog out there with Grimes, with Dante. But whatever. We would have a little bit of a struggle. That's the thing. OG is really a key here. Really a key for the Knicks right now. So if Randall is out, for example, OG could play the 4. Okay, he could play the 4. But if OG is out, you really don't have a guy. Well, you do. I feel like Grimes could step in and play the 3. But Tibbs seems to think Hart is the guy he wants to go through all the time. To me, Hart is a classic bench piece, not a guy you want to start. Okay, but that's Tibbs' decision. So we'll see. That's the only real risk I'm seeing here. I can't see Brunson shooting that badly for the rest of the stretches here. He may have a few games like that, but you ain't gonna see that a lot. Okay, once they get acclimated, it's gonna be on. It's gonna be on. So that's why I'm excited. They play Chicago in the Garden tomorrow. I'm really wanting, and they'll get hopefully a practice in today. So everybody, including OG and Precious, will get a practice in. And now, we'll see more of the full contingent in terms of the bench. Like I want to see Deuce and Grimy come out together with Hart and with Precious. They're gonna be good, y'all. I'm telling you. So I'm excited. Let's sit back and enjoy it, man. Forget all these. There's another move coming, BS. Let's sit back and enjoy this team. Don't worry about it. Some people, what are they gonna do with all the draft picks? What do you care? All you want them to do is win. If you're a Knicks fan, that's all. What do you care what they do with the draft picks? What do you care what they do with Evan Fournier's contract? Sit this behind the end of the bench and let the $19 million expire. I don't care. I just want them to win. Let's just win. Be safe out there. Sure.